This
covering is
conference will
introduction
now be
to
recorded.
From now, I'll be covering the first thing that we'll be doing is introduction to Jupyter Notebook. So once you have installed Anaconda Navigator like here, so you have to click launch,
Okay. Yep.
right? After on Jupyter Notebook. So once the Jupyter Notebook gets launched, so something like this. I don't know why it is not showing you in the screen. Just give me a minute. It is just showing you the introduction to Jupyter Notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you are able to see the Anaconda Navigator on the screen, right?
Yes, I.
So in you can see in the Jupyter Notebook, you can have to click launch over there, and something like this will open in the in your web browser. So you see, screen is running little bit late. Just
Oh,
I'll have to wait for that. Are you able to see it, Nishil?
yeah, I can see it. It's loaded into the desktop. Python
Okay.
data.
Okay. So are you able to see it? See a web browser?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So something like that will open in your screen once you will be
Okay.
launching the Jupyter Notebook. So from there you can open your Python notebooks, right? So how to open the Python notebook? You can go to new and
Okay.
you can select Python 3 over there, and
Okay.
something like this will open in your screen. So this is what is a Python book is, right? And here
Okay.
you can start doing the coding. So the first
Okay.
thing that I'll be covering is introduction to Jupyter Notebook. Uh, so okay, so if you whatever code you will be writing it in a cell, right? So Jupyter Notebook can have as many cells as you want in your code. So whenever you write something, you write it in the cell of the Jupyter Notebook. So you can see that
Okay.
this is one cell in the Jupyter Notebook. This
Yep.
is the another cell in the Jupyter Notebook. Then like this, you have
Okay.
many cells in Jupyter Notebook, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can see the blue color over here.
Yep. Okay.
The cell color is blue, right? So it means
Yep.
when the cell color is blue, that you are in the command mode, right? So you can give
Okay.
commands to the cell, and if you want to write something in the cell, you have to press enter.
Okay.
So when you press enter, you can see that the color has changed to
Green.
green,
Yeah. Yep.
right? So now
Yep.
so now you can write something in the cell. So like I am writing here, coding Python, right?
Yep.
So green color indicates that now you can write in the cell, and the blue color indicates that you can't write anything in the cell right now, but you can give commands. So whenever you have to write some code in the cell, you have to press enter and then start
Okay.
writing in the and in the blue color you have to give the commands, right?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So there are two kinds of cells in Jupyter Notebook. One is the coding cell and one is the markdown cell, right? So when the cell is the coding cell, so you'll have to you can write your codes in the coding cells, but the markdown cells you can write simple notes in the markdown cell like this.
Okay. Okay.
Like this. So in this, so the benefit of Jupyter Notebook is you can write down the notes as well as your code on the same platform, and
Mm-hmm.
that is something which is not provided by other platforms of Python, right?
Okay.
So I will, so like this. Now I am in I am in uh, now this is the markdown cell and I am in the editing mode of the markdown cell. So you can see I have hash and I'm writing some code after I'm writing some notes after that, right?
Okay.
So so you can just go through this content of this Python notebook. I will share it with you, and it
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
not much difficult, and you will understand what is happening it in once you'll see it, right? So there is nothing much about it. I have also shared that what all commands are there in this Python
Sure.
notebook.
Okay.
So like if you press shift plus enter in the
Mm-hmm.
command cell, so the your code will run, right? So you can
Okay.
just
Yep.
go through it once, and then you can, if you are having any problem with, we can see to it, right? So
Sure.
let's start
Sure.
with the core Python now. That is what is to be done in the course.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So the first topic that we'll be covering is Introduction to Python and Strings. So
Mm-hmm.
the main thing that is to be done in in Python is in any language specifically is if you want to print something on the screen, like you want to see some output on the screen, right? So how you can do it? So there is a command called print,
Mm-hmm.
and after print command you can start in with a parenthesis, that is left
Mm-hmm.
open parenthesis, and in double quotes you have to write down whatever you want to print on the screen. Like here, I
Yep.
am printing, this is
Mm-hmm.
my first line of code in Python. So I want to print the statement. So I've put it in the double quotes and in between the parentheses. I hope you're clear what are parentheses.
Yep. I am.
Okay, okay. So this will print you can see that the output is printed in the output section of the Jupyter notebook. Are you able to see it?
Yes. Yes. I am.
So, right. So how you run this code is you press shift and then enter.
Enter. Mm-hmm.
Yes, shift and enter. You don't have to press plus in between. You will be pressing shift
Okay.
plus and then you will be pressing enter. Then the
Yep.
code that you have written in the cell that will run. So it is so print keyword you use if you want to print something on the screen. So print is
Okay.
something that you will be using rigorously throughout the course. So it is
Okay.
used to see the outputs,
Mm-hmm.
whatever coding you have done, right? So I'll be
Okay.
moving to the
Yep.
next snippet of the code. So it
Mm-hmm.
is again something similar to what we have done in the previous code, but you can see that there
Mm-hmm.
is something backslash n. present
Yeah.
in between these statement, right?
Mm-hmm.
So backslash n in the coding means enter, next line
Okay.
basically. Backslash n
Okay.
means
Okay.
next line. So
Mm-hmm.
in the output you can see that hello is printed in one line and this is in next line is printed in the next line,
Yep.
right? So backslash n is used in that case when you want to print something into new lines.
Two
So you
different
can
lines.
put a
Okay.
backslash in between your you can put backslash in between your statements, and your statements will be printed accordingly into the new line.
Okay. Got it. Yep.
Okay, so are you clear? Are you understanding what I'm
Yes.
saying in both in these small snippets I'm showing you? Are you able to judge that what I'm trying to convey to you? Are you able to understand it?
Yes. Yes. I am. Yep.
So I hope you don't have any problem till now.
No. 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 I'm clear. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I'm moving on to the next snippet. So here now, whenever we are working with Python, any programming language, we
Mm-hmm.
there is something called variables, right? So
Yep. Yep.
variables hold some value, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like here, a, a is a variable and it is holding a value of 6.
Yes.
And again, b is a variable and it is
Seven.
holding a
Mm-hmm.
value of 7, right? So
Yep.
now
Yep.
whenever we'll be using a or b somewhere, so it means we are using the value of a's and b over there.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
now one more thing I would like to add over here is that you need not define in some languages you need to define that what
Yeah.
kind of data a variable is holding. Like, is it holding an integer? Is it holding a
Integer or
string?
yeah,
Or
float or something.
yeah,
Yep.
or or it is holding some other kind of value. So you need not define such things in Python. Python is a
Mm-hmm.
Python is a very smart in that sense that
Okay.
you can that Python recognizes that Python recognizes on its own that what kind of data type it is, and you need not specify the data type of any variable that you're defining. Like here, so here we have defined a equal to 6, so it will automatically take the data type of an integer because we have defined it as an integer. So in the memory
Yep.
it will be stored as an integer itself. You are not explicitly defining that a is an integer,
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
right? Right. So
Yep.
now, in the previous print statements that we have done, we had just printed the statements, right? The exact statements that were being printed, and that we have written in double quotes. But now here you can see
Okay.
that that I have written a plus
No
b,
parenthesis.
but I haven't put
No quotation.
double quotes in between.
Yep. Got it.
Right? So that means
Yep.
I want to perform this operation on the variables a and b. So I want to perform addition, right? Plus
Yep.
stands for
Yep.
addition. So I want to perform addition on variable a and variable b. So to perform addition on variable a and variable b, so a is 6 and value is 7, and
Uh, yeah, your voice is
the
cutting. I
value
can't.
perform a 6 and the value of b combination on output that is giving 13 and perform addition on it, it is giving this result. You can see in the output
Yeah, actually, your voice is dropping. I can't hear.
below the code you are. Hello,
Yeah, I
is
can
it
hear you
fine
now.
now?
Yep. Yeah, it's fine now. Yeah.
Okay. So are you able to see 13 just below the below the code here?
Yep.
I have highlighted 13.
Yep. Yep.
So
Yeah, I can see.
after adding 6 and 7, we are getting 13. So this is the code that we have run, that we have performed the addition, right? And we have
Yep.
directly printed the results.
Yep.
Now we want to perform this subtraction on the same
Subtract.
variables. So we have written a minus b,
Yep.
right? So a minus b will perform the subtraction on variables a and b, and this result, because we are subtracting 6 from 7 minus 1 as 7. Sorry, we are
Yep.
subtracting, so it will give you minus 1, right?
Yeah. Correct.
So for doing addition, we have used plus sign. For doing subtraction, we have done used minus sign. Now, if you want to
Mm-hmm.
do the multiplication of these two
Multiplication.
variables, so you'll have to do,
Mm,
yes, so
Star.
you'll have to do
Mhm.
a asterisk sign and b. So this will
Okay.
perform multiplication of variable a and b. So you can see when we multiply 6 with 7, it is giving 42 as the result,
Yep. Yep.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the next operation that going to perform is we are going to divide 6 by, so here you
7.
can see very large, see large number that that is being shown and so on. It is 0.857.
Yep. Hello.
Right? Uh,
Yeah.
so se- so we're dividing by 7. It is showing this number. So the numbers which are decimals in Python, we call that data type as float data. And call that data type. So 0.571 and so on is a float number,
Yeah.
right? Now,
Yeah.
are you clear till here? Anything?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Okay, so the next thing that we'll be doing is floor division. Floor division. So it is called. I will write it down for
Right.
you. Floor division.
Okay.
So it is similar to the normal division we have done, but it will just show you the integer value. It will not show you the decimal points. Like here we have divided, we have floor divided 6 by 7. So it is showing you just
Okay.
the zero and not the values in the at the decimal places. So if you want
Okay.
to just see the integer part of the result and not the decimal part, so you can use a double slash over there, and it will show you just the integer part and not the decimal part.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, right. So the next operation that we are going to perform is the modulus operation. It is called as the modulus operation. So in modulus operation, when we divide 6 by 7, so what we are getting in the remainder?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
a percent b. So we don't call it percent, we call it as modulus. So a
Okay.
modulus b will give you the result of the remainder. What will come in the remainder? So so when we perform modulus operation on 6 and 7, it will give us 6 the result, because when we'll divide 6 by 7, it will give 6 as the remainder in the result.
Okay.
Are you clear with this thing? Because when we'll
Yep.
divide 6 by 7, it will be divided by 0. So when we'll do uh, s- we'll be putting a 0. Just a second. So when we'll be dividing it, we'll be
Okay.
dividing
Mhm.
7 by 6. It will be first in we'll be using 0, and when we'll be dividing it, subtracting 0 from 6, we'll get 6 as the remainder.
Okay. So 6 by 7, if you put point, it will be 60, and then you divide it by 7, it's 8 times, so 56. The remainder will be 4, right?
No,
Uh,
no, 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 no.
oh, sorry.
You're not
Not that.
dividing 7 by 60.
Okay. 6 by
You
7.
are dividing 7 by 6. Yes. 6 by 7, what you're doing, and basically, so you are doing 6 divided by 7. It will give you so it will you will be doing it with 0, right? So you will be first means 7, see, 7 twos will give you 14. So 14 is not something which you can subtract from 6. So you'll have to, 7 zeros will give you 0. So you'll have to first multiply it with 0. So in remainder it will give you 6 only.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yep.
You got it now?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. So the next operation that we are going to do is that of
6 to the power of 7.
is of exponent. So
Okay.
when we are if we are putting a a single asterisk, so that will perform a multiplication operation.
Multiplication.
But if we are putting
Okay.
but if we two asterisk sign, so it will be performing
Exponential.
a power operation,
Yep.
exponential operation, right? So this is called the exponential function. So it will give you 6 to the power 7. So it will give you
Yep.
that result. What will be the result in when we'll be multiplying 6 7 times? So it is giving you
Yeah.
that
Got it.
result.
Yep.
Is it
Uh,
fine? Is it fine to let?
yep. So I do have a question. So you defined
Uh,
A is equal to
yes, yes, go
6,
ahead.
and then B is equal to 7, and then you define A is equal to 8. So which value it will take? So the recent one or the one which is already taken?
I think something is no. See, I haven't equal to 8 anywhere. I have defined A is equal to 6, then given 6, B is equal to 6, adding
I can't hear
everything.
you. Okay. So my question is, if we have A is equal to 6 and then B is equal to 7, and then if we have A is equal to 8, which value it will take of A? Will it take, is it as a 6 or
Okay,
8?
then you have, then oh, you are saying something like we have first defined A is equal to, then we have defined B is equal to 6. Is that question? Then we have first defined A is equal to 6, and again
Your voice is dropping. Sorry.